The topic of this blended intensive program, in cooperation with the University of Turku and University of La Réunion, focused on latitudinal and altitudinal ecosystem patterns of bryophytes in the subarctic and tropics. For that, we formed 4 groups working on different research aspects. One group worked on the bryophyte diversity as well as epiphytes on surrounding trees. The second group worked with functional traits like the water-holding capacity of single shoots and community mats of bryophytes. My group worked with the growth forms of bryophytes and lichens to identify differences in abundant growth forms depending on the elevation and vascular plant cover. The fourth group was looking for collembola species in the shrubs and ground vegetation around the transects. For the fieldwork in Finland, we worked on 3 elevation levels, with pine forest as the lowest elevation, birch forest, a transitional zone, as the middle elevation, and tundra for the highest elevation. On each elevation level, we placed a 23-meter transect line with 8 80 by 80 centimeter macro plots. Each group then took the data needed for their research questions. Due to limited time, we did 2 locations in 3 transects in Finland. Then, next one here. Last one here. We are on the mountaintop. No trees, only tiny bushes. And over there is Norway. So we have the transect line again. That is the last plot, plot H. We always have 8 plots. And here one can already see 2 sites where samples have been taken. For later lab work, over here we have the paper bags that we use. And then 2 meters up is the next plot on the right side. And the next plot on the left. Here.
Why do we have like 15 layers
There.
in this bread? Are you crazy? Yeah. Okay.
Next one.
It's fine.
Here.
I think it's fine.
Still work in progress. More work in progress. In plot A. Nearly on tree line height.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
It would be just more intuitive to start with A here.
In the permafrost peat bog shown in the previous video, we got a chance to look at the moss genus Sphagnum, which was very diverse in regards of species, colors and size. The fieldwork was then followed by the lab work of identifying the bryophyte species under the microscopes, weighing and cleaning samples, and then drying these samples to weigh them again in a completely dry state to then produce statistical analysis of the results. In Finland, we also collected bryophyte and lichen samples to put them on display as an overview of the discovered diversity in the subarctic ecosystem. The second part of the course then took place on the tropical volcanic island of La Réunion, which is situated approximately 700 kilometers east of Madagascar as part of the Mascarene Island group. It is fully volcanic with very active volcanoes forming the island. The highest peak is the crater rim of Piton de Neige with 3,070 meters, and the second volcano is Piton de la Fournaise with 2,632 meters above sea level, which last erupted in July 2023. Because the island is relatively small but shows very high elevation, placing the elevational transects posed more difficult compared to Lapland. The highest transect was conducted at 2,200 meters in the subalpine ericoid forest, followed by the humid forest at 1,600 meters, the tropical cloud forest at 1,365 meters, and the lowest transect at an elevation of 580 meters in tropical humid forest. At each elevation, one transect with 8 macroplots was placed and analyzed by the same groups and research questions as in Finland. Due to the accessibility problems and time limitations, only one transect was completed for each elevation. The methods were the same, but for my group, looking at the growth forms, we did see more growth forms than in Finland, with some more adaptations to the tropics and the higher moisture conditions. As a summary, we did find comparable results in patterns along the elevation, which were similar in both Finland and Reunion Island. Except for 2 invasive species on Reunion, we did not have the same bryophyte species, but similar growth form and distribution patterns of bryophytes and lichen. The Collembola group found many more species in Finland than on Reunion Island, which with the 2 used methods, but in each location one method was more useful than the other. With so many bryophyte species in the tropics still being unknown, there is a lot more research needed in the future to offer a good species overview.